Hey guys, it's Andrew. Real quick before we get started with the video, I just wanted to say, please consider checking out the Instagram page we just started for Starving Artist Podcast, and also consider maybe checking out my Spotify page for my band New Management. The best way to get a hold of me or Lucas is going to be on the IG account, because that is the best way to DM us if you have questions, or if you're an artist yourself and you want to be on the show. That's the best way to get a hold of me, and just hit me up there if you have any questions. Thank you so much, guys. Enjoy the video and have a great day. I guess I'll talk to you soon. Hello, everybody. Welcome back for another episode of Starving Artists. And we got the crew, the original gang, the OGs. Lucas and we are here. How you doing today,
now
Lucas?
your favorites. I'm doing good. Yeah, not to throw any shade at Nate. I'm sure we'll have him back at some point.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. He will be back. He will be back. I'm sure.
After he blows up and far exceeds us in fame, he's playing, on stages across the world. He's been playing in front of the Louvre, on the pyramid.
Yeah, opening for Nickelback.
Yeah, the dream. The absolute dream.
Living the life of the rock star. So today we kind of have an interesting thing. We were just talking about this right before the show, because we're a new podcast, we're a new YouTube channel, and we were honestly the way that we came up with our name, the Starving Artists Podcast, is we're two starving artists, and we can't say musicians because he's a comedian and I'm a musician. We can't say comedians because he's a comedian, I'm a musician. So
yeah, and you're not funny, is what
I'm not funny at all. I'm boring as shit. There's nothing fucking funny.
If you weren't funny, I wouldn't have agreed to do this with you.
Thank you. You've officially gave me more respect than my father ever has.
Wow. Still no hugs though. No,
still
not
no
a single. Yeah.
No. He's a cowboy. We don't do that. No, shit.
Smokes Marlboros and spits on me to show his love.
He lets me use the same ashtray. But you know what? Though, it's really hard coming up with a name for something. And so for 1 second, I was like, this is an amazing name. It works perfect for what we're doing. And I looked up on the internet to see if there were other podcasts with this name, and I couldn't find any. And I even went on Spotify and I looked up bands, or looked up podcasts, because a lot of podcasts are on Spotify. And that's where I listen to all of my podcasts, ironically. But I'm on this podcast, we're only on YouTube. But the thing is I couldn't find any. So I was like, perfect name, perfect everything. It works out. Let's do it. And so we named it that, and we've had 3 episodes out. They've been very successful in my personal imagination.
Huge successes. Yeah. On our way to the rock star lifestyle. Yeah. Nickelback reached out.
Nickelback, yeah, we're having Chad Kroger on our next episode. Is it Kroger?
Get in before that.
Okay.
Yeah, the guy from Fred Meyer. Yeah.
Yeah, I just realized that it's Kroger, and I was like, oh shit, that's the cereal dude, I think, or not, Kellogg's. Fuck it. Okay. Tony the Tiger is going to be on our next podcast, talking about his startup of fame. And so, yeah, a backup dancer for the Cheetah Girls, and then sorry, that's fucking stupid. Okay,
I like it.
So we came up with an interesting name, and I've been in many bands. I have been in too many bands, in fact. And some say I should stop being in bands, but
some people in my bands have told me I should stop being in bands.
And so naming things is very difficult, especially because you're trying to be original, you're trying to be truthful, and you're trying to market yourself with a marketable name. And with the starving artist, it's so difficult. Now for Lucas, I'm assuming that your name on stage is Lucas, right?
Yeah, well, the first time I went out, my last name is Gubala, which
is a perfect comedian name, just so you know.
You think so?
I think so, 100%. So most comedians that I've heard have like odd last names, and I think Kubala is an odd last name, in my opinion. Okay. No offense.
I agree. So the first time that I went up on stage, for the first couple times, I went by Lucas G, which I don't anymore. At some point, I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna just go by my whole name. Like, I'm cool enough to just go by Lucas G.
You're a G.
Yeah. All the black guys got the wrong idea. They were like, is this appropriate? I'm confused. But no, I went by Lucas G at first, and like, I'm never like ashamed of my last name. I just don't like it. And whenever I've done like performative stuff in the past, making music or being on a team or in a group for something like that. It's never been my name, but you're right. With comedy, it's just kind of like your name. So, but now I go by my full name, and so that I can, you know, fully dishonor my family when the time comes.
That's one thing about names is that they obviously are there to identify you, but names can also give off a vibe. So, you know, especially with band names. So this is a bad thing, but one of my old band names, this is actually my like one of my most prominent band names, or one of my most prominent bands in that I was like in for like a long time. I think we were together for like 3 years. Was Fall as the Broken. Now, when you hear that band name, you're what genre like shoots out at you, honestly?
I mean, I know you, but it sounds pretty emo.
Yeah, it sounds like, well, to me, I always thought it sounded like a metalcore band, like metal.
Okay.
Like hard rock, like screamo stuff. And yes, we did scream, but we were much more like pop punk and like rock, but not like so hard rock. Like Falls the Broken to me always sounded like a metal name, and I never really liked it. Like I liked it because we had it and we stuck to it, but it seemed like marketing when you tell people, "Oh, we're Falls the Broken," they're like, "Oh, you're like a metal band." And I'm like, "No, it's like pop punk."
Was
And
it
so
Falls the Broken or Fall as the Broken?
Fall as the Broken. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And our logo had like the word broken in like different pieces, like the letters were falling down. Yeah, gotta do it. But and you know, that took forever because we had so many band names that we were looking up. I remember when I was in high school, we would Google names that we would come up with like the perfect name. So we'd Google to see if it's already taken. And every time it's always taken. The names are always taken. It's so difficult. And you don't want to be like if there's a band name called like, you know, you don't want to be like there's a band called Fall Out Boy. You don't want to be the Falls Boys or something. Like you don't want to be that close to another really famous band. So you really want to try to be different. And
Blue Day,
yeah, Blue Afternoon. Shit, that's not a bad band name. No, you can't have it. That's my next band name. Blue.
It's taken.
It's taken. Yeah. It probably is, honest to God. But yeah, no, like exactly. So like Green Day, you know, Blink 182, like you can't. That's an original name, obviously, but like Blink 182, I think they got their band name because it like meant something to them. Like, you know, you blink and half a year is gone. That's like how they got it. But initially they were just Blink. But when you hear Blink, you're like, or Blink 182, you're like, oh, that's a pop punk. That's like an emo band name or whatever. And that totally like works for them. Even Fall Out Boy like totally works for them. Panic at the Disco, kind of weird, but their music was weird when they first started. So that works out for them too. And so I'm just naming all these like quintessential high school me band names. But in all honesty,
ever been like, are they a disco band? Like,
yeah, exactly. Nobody thinks like, yeah, no, exactly. The Cherry Poppin' Daddies. You know who those guys are?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that band name, you know what you're going for.
Exactly.
But yeah,
they're
no,
like our key demographic loves poppin' cherries. We gotta, and they, you know, just gotta give it to them. Give the people what they want. I was only ever in one band, and it was Rock Band. It was like a competition in middle school or whatever. So this is the only band name that we've ever realized, but it was Jello Republic.
That's not bad. That's actually pretty cool.
We like Jello, you know.
But just like diabetics can't listen to your podcast then,
or
listen to your band. They can't listen to your band.
Yeah, but that's just because they killed my grandfather. So I don't wanna,
you got to be like, all right, we have that band, and then maybe you should do like an acoustic album, and you call it Sugar Free Jello Republic.
Yeah,
it's like your acoustic record. Anyways, but yeah, so but like my band, New Management. Check me out on Spotify. The way that I got that band name was from, you know, I was in a band and I got signed to a record label, and then that record label and us didn't really work out. So we had this whole thing that we had to go through like a lawsuit and all this stuff. And in the middle of all that, I was kind of having a mental breakdown. But in all of that, I really wanted to keep making music because that helped me get through it mentally. And so I had to start my own band. And so I was like, fuck it. I'm under New Management. And there was already another band called Under New Management. So I was like, that's it. I'm just New Management. And well, I actually never really liked Under New Management. I liked New Management, thinking that like we lost our management team, so it's like I'm doing everything by myself, so this is new management for me. And and so it worked out in my situation. It worked out emotionally, also I don't know, emotionally, and also it really ticked the box of like I was trying to be like this, I still am, like emo rock pop music. And so I don't really, so new management, when you hear it, I think it sounds more like pop rock, pop punk, emo sounding, more than like Falls the Broken was like super metal sounding.
I agree.
So
I think so.
yeah, so for anybody who's trying to name their shit out there, honestly, make it meaningful, make it original as much as you can, and mostly try to make it marketable. I mean, that's at the end of the day, because you will be always, if you're not emotionally attached to your name when you first name it, a year down the line you will be. So as long as you really worry about like marketability, because you can't change marketability, you can always change if you care about it or not. So that to me, makes sense.
They say necessity is the mother of invention, and you need food. So
I fucking
starving
get
artists.
that. Yeah. For sure. And that's another thing is we were talking about this too. I've made like 7 albums. I thought about the other day, and like obviously they're not all great and they weren't all finished like perfectly mixed albums, but I have recorded at some point 7 different albums. I did 1 album with my first high school band. I did another album with my second high school band, and then I did a third album. I did 3 albums with my last band, and I've done 3 albums, 8 with my new band. And so, and this summer I'm going to do another one. And if you're including like EPs, like I did an EP with Nathan a while ago, and then I've done a ton of singles with other people before. So if you want to include all of that stuff, like I've done 8, almost 9 records. And if you want to include all the singles, I've probably done an amount of songs that would equate to 10 albums. So, and like written and recorded. So they weren't great. They weren't amazing. They weren't perfect. Some of them are better than others, but I would say that as a whole, that's still a lot of naming that I've had to do over the course of time.
Yeah,
and
every song had
a name.
Yeah.
And I used to do that thing that like, like Fall Out Boy did this thing, and this is pretty inspirational to me. Names don't have to mean like, you write a song. Oh, what's the most repeated word? Oh, okay, we're gonna call this song Remedy because it says the word remedy 16 times in it. You don't have to do that. You can name it anything. Fall Out Boy would write songs called, like, obviously they had Dance Dance, which was written because the lyrics in the chorus say dance dance. Same thing as Sugar We're Going Down. But they also had songs called like My Lawyer Made Me Change the Name of the Song so we wouldn't get sued. And I'm not sure if that's true or not, but they changed the song to that. They also have other songs called like I Slept with a band member in Fall Out Boy and all I got was a stupid song written about me. That was the name of a song. And so like you can name a song anything and it could work, one of like I think they're up and coming. They just released their second album like a few months ago, maybe even only a month ago. Their name is Hot Mulligan. Have you heard of them at all?
Hot Mulligan, no.
Yeah. Okay, so they're like this up and coming pop punk emo band, and their biggest hit today right now, they only have like 200,000 listeners, which is a ton, but like realistically, it's not like a lot, like 200,000.
They're not buying their mom a house or anything like that.
No, yeah, they're not there yet. They're not at stardom level. They're closer to 300,000 now almost. But their biggest hit has 2.7 million plays, almost 3. It's getting there. Nice. And it's called Equip Sunglasses, and it has like the star, has like the whatever it's called, asterisk or the thing, and it says Equip Sunglasses asterisk. And it's like and it says nothing about sunglasses in that song. So and it fits like emotionally with the song. It fits with the vibe of the song, but it for sure
song make you feel like you want to put sunglasses on.
It kind of has like that sort of vibe. It's like a cool kind of like bob your head kind of vibe. It's pretty cool, but they're really good. If you haven't, you should check them out. But and then after that, you should also check out
New Management.
New Management at Spotify.
What were you gonna say? A hot mulligan sounds like a delicious, like spiced beverage. It doesn't like.
Yeah, no, yeah, or like like a and I'm sure, mulligan's a name. Like you can be like, oh, my buddy Mulligan, and then you just
Well, I
think
think
like,
I'm a nerd, so I think taking my cards back in Magic the Gathering, like I draw a shit hand, I'm like fucking land flooded, and I'm like mulligan. That's
okay,
well, new one.
okay.
You ever play
I
Magic
haven't. Here's
card
the thing. I
games?
haven't played that, but when I used to work at Walmart, everybody at Walmart played it. So they were always trying to get me to play it, and like I almost did, but then I think I quit Walmart, so then I just never. And then I went into
That's the most
construction. So
depressing thing I've ever heard in my
I
life. Not
I
the
know.
construction, that everybody who works at Walmart who already has no hope just spent all their money on Magic cards. That's
They played the shit out of it too. And one guy was like going to tournaments and stuff, and I guess he was pretty good at it. So, and then we have a buddy who was playing that too a little while ago, but I can't remember. But anyways, uh, actually, it was Sean. Do you remember Sean?
I do remember Sean
Okay,
Stillwell.
okay. So
May he rest in peace.
yeah, rest in peace. I forgot. Yeah, but funny story about him. Total side tangent. But
Yeah,
I remember
tell me.
we went to a party, and we got drunk and super plastered, and he was like, he was sober, I guess, and he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go to Muchos Gracias to get like burritos and shit," and I was like, fuck yeah, burrito sounds so good right now. I was like, hey, dude. And by the way, total stranger at this point. Like, Chandler knew him, Nathan knew him, you knew him. And so, like, I felt like, oh, they knew this guy. And I didn't know how well they knew him. And I just met him for the first time this night. And I had
Like,
no
are we
more.
on burrito level yet?
Yeah, we're on burrito level of connection now. And so I have like one conversation with this dude before this. And I go, hey, man, here's my debit card. Here's my PIN number. I wrote it down in like a sticky note and put it on there. And I was like, buy me a burrito. And he's like, all right. And he left. And like, I passed out. And then when he came back, he like woke me up and I was like, oh, burritos. And I was drunk and I was just like ate burritos. But like, if this were anybody else, they could have fucking taken it and ran off and just like, cashed out all $74 that I had. And just, yeah. But like, no, it's just funny story that I
your shit red.
Make bad economic and personal decisions when I get fucking plastered.
Nah, he was a good guy. He was a good guy.
He was a great guy. So, but anyways, to go back to naming, it was really difficult to name things. I think my first album with my Falls the Broken band, our first album, and a lot of bands do this, and I actually really don't. I'm not a fan of it, but a lot of artists will name their album off of like they'll have like a title track. So like, we had a song on the album called Growing Up, so we named the album Growing Up. But for us it like worked out because I was 17, and so it literally felt like you're going through that weird, or no, I was like 18. So it was like this weird time of like you're an adult but you're like finishing high school and like life's about to start. It's like this really weird thing.
Yeah.
And so the album name worked out, but I'm not a huge fan of like title track stuff. But
how do you feel about bands naming their first album or project the name of their band? Like, just
I'm not a fan of that either. I mean, it's okay. I'm not a fan of it. Sorry, I'm just not. Like, I'm just
That's
not.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm trying to think of a band that's done that. I know Paramore had an album called Paramore, but that was like their fourth album that they named Paramore. But
that seems even weirder.
Yeah, it is. And I didn't really like that too much. But I'm trying to think of any band that's done that. And 3 Days Grace, their first album was called 3 Days Grace. And I'm just, even though I love 3 Days Grace, I love their old stuff. I love that album. That album's really awesome. But I can't think besides like that name could have been better. But I think like marketing wise, it works because, you're trying to sell your name. Hey, what's the name of that album? 3 Days Grace. What's the name of the band? 3 Days Grace. That's half the names that you have to remember to find them.
Yeah.
So,
they're new, just trying to get you to remember anything.
Mm-hmm. That's why it's almost better to have short band names as well, because if you have a short band name, or there's like this weird study that found that if your name has like 3 syllables or 4 syllables, it has to have like a rhythm, like new management. That's like okay, it's not like great, but like Fall Out Boy is like super rememberable. So they tell you that like there's a certain amount of syllables and like rhythm that come with it that's like psychologically better to like
Sure.
Yeah,
stick in the brain.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's something to consider.
I watched a movie last night with a ridiculously long name. Some of you, it's a Kubrick film. I had never seen it, called Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love the Bomb. Which it's a hell of a name.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
Didn't help me learn to stop worrying or love thermonuclear devices. So I was, pretty misled. How many syllables is that? Dr. Strangelove.
Yeah, that's too many syllables. That's what I say. Marketing position wise, that's really hard. Now, actually, that's almost the opposite. Like, it's so long that you wouldn't remember the name, but like if you saw it, then you would remember.
Yeah, everybody remembers how the longest word in the dictionary or whatever. Anti-disestablishmentarianism. I'm not doing a good job of my thing.
I don't know that word, but that's because I've never even seen a dictionary, which is why I don't believe in dictionaries.
It's true.
In
fact, all dictionaries are flat. Don't let them. Don't let them tell you anything else.
But yeah, no. So yeah, I think I named my second album on that band. Actually, that album didn't have a title track. It was called "This Is Me Pulling My Punches."
Growing up, and then "This Is Me Pulling My Punches." Okay.
Yeah. And so
part of growing up, learning to pull punches.
Yeah, and I think
I like that name. That's a good one.
Yeah, and it was like "This Is Me," period, pulling my punches, period. So it would it looked clean on paper, and it looked really cool. And so it had like dude, I'll send you that album. It's still on Spotify. I would love for you to listen to it and just be like, oh shit, this is Andrew when he was like a senior in high school, like just fucking screaming in a mic, like, you broke my heart, and like, just fucking horrible shit. But
who hurt you, Andrew? Who hurt you?
God.
God hurt you.
God hurt me. No,
no, there, simpatico.
I think at that point, I mean, you look back and you're like, when you're in it, you're like, oh man, things are crazy. And then you look back and you're like, that was kind of stupid. But also, I think I was being like dramatic because I was 18 and in high school, and I was trying to make music.
Put her on blast. What was it? Lacey McConnell, you bitch. God damn it. I made up that name.
Oh, did you? You came up with the full name in like that much time?
Yeah, well, I lied. She's the one who broke my heart.
Oh, okay.
Broke my heart under the.
All right, everybody, go get her. You know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go send her 10 listeners to fucking harass her on the internet.
Yeah. 10 people is enough for a lynch mob.
Hey, you can carry on. Yeah, that's a mob.
10 people. If we all have pitchforks, that's 30 points.
Yeah. Damn. Pitchforks have 4, don't they?
I think of the 3. You can have either. It's just about like moving hay. I think of like 3-pronged pitchforks, like the double pitchfork.
So a trident. They all have tridents.
Yeah, I guess.
So we're all sea people.
We're all sea monkeys. That is true.
Seamen. We're all seamen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's why that's probably animal cruelty if you had sea monkeys and fed them semen.
Okay, so speaking
Stop
of
coming
naming
in
things,
our home.
Speaking of naming, like naming our naval like military seamen is a bad in
not a great name.
Yeah, they should have had the foresight for that, but they didn't. And I don't know.
They're like, what are the pilots be called? Airmen. All right. Next.
What about the infantry? Firemen? Nope, that's already taken. Okay. Shootermen. Snipermen. I don't know.
Tank boys.
Tankmen. Yeah. No. Okay. So I think. Shit. What was that? Oh yeah. And then
this is me pulling my punches.
Yeah, this is me pulling my punches. And then the third album that we did, but it never got released because the record label had it, but it never got finished because we had to go through the whole lawsuit thing. It was called, I think it was called Therapy. So it was it was like, like I said, we were going through like that whole emo like thing.
You're like, I'm growing up. I'm not throwing as many punches as I want. And the third one's Therapy. I feel like there was an EP in between that was like, I threw too many punches.
And, physical therapy.
Caught a case. Yeah, physical therapy.
And then my other band, we actually made an album, but I don't think I ever named it. A lot of them were title tracks or whatever, which I think a lot of the time you make an EP, which is like, anywhere from 5 to 10 songs, or I know anywhere from 5 to 9 songs, because I think once you hit 10, it's an album. I don't know. That's a whole nother discussion to have, is what's the difference between an EP and an album, but we'll have that on another time. But
and then what's an LP? Is an LP 3 songs?
That would be I think a single is 1 or 2 songs. I would argue that 3 songs is an EP.
Okay, because it's extended play and limited play, right?
Yeah, that's a whole. Those are but some of those are pretty old terminology that has to do with like records, like big records or even CDs. So now that we're all on like technology and streaming, it's like, do we still need to call it EPs and albums? Which I actually like distinguishing, a small project versus a big project, because I don't feel like if someone comes out with a 13-song album, it's like this other guy's like, hey, I have a 5-song album. And they're like, nope, that's not an album. That's an EP. I'm like, okay. But then you're like, oh, I released 2 songs. That's considered a single. Well, that's confusing because it's not a single song. It's 2 songs. Yeah. So you're confusing everybody. And there's some that are like 4 or 5 songs that say singles. And I don't understand that either. I think it has to do with their distributing company or like the streamer's policy on what is what. But long story short, that's all fucking, musical jargon and lawyer shit. But anyways,
if it's hip hop instrumentals, for some reason, they're always called beat tapes. No, the tapes can't get away from the analog.
Can't get away from that. It's called, mix tapes. And so, then I think with my band, New Management, I had 3 albums out, but only one of them's on Spotify. But my first album was called 3 a.m. and it was like a 3 a.m. and it was just a play on words that like, and then the album was actually 42 minutes long, and the last song was called, which was like an audio out. It was just like an audio track that was like, it had like background music, and then it had like sounds. It wasn't like an actual song, but it was called 3:42 a.m. So it had like it's like a keep track of time or whatever. Anyways, it has like meaning in it. But that was the thing, is that actually took like a minute to kind of go, okay, what do I want to call this album? Oh, a lot of these songs were written at 3 a.m. because I couldn't sleep, and I was like, okay, I'll just like. Sometimes, and this is more on like the writing process for me, but sometimes you just kind of like can't sleep, and then all of a sudden you feel a song come out, or you're just like, oh damn, I got this lyric in my head, I just gotta like get this out. But
most guys just jerk off to get back to sleep.
see
like,
I
can't sleep, and you're like, I gotta get this music out of me. I gotta shoot this music all over the ceiling. Gotta fucking okay, so they were like late night songs.
So it kind of had like a theme.
The 42-minute that like it's the length of the album is
I
like that.
No, it's like, and then the thing is I've done a lot of projects where you kind of write an EP or an album, and you're like, what do you want to call it? And like nobody really has a name, and especially if you're in like a group that like not one person's taking like the direction, it's usually like you're in, it's you, the singer, or in front of the guitarist, the drummer, and the bassist, and you kind of don't want to look like a pussy in front of your bros, so you're just like, let's name it after one of our songs, because that's like the normal thing to do. But instead of being like, actually this is really deep and I want to name it something personal, like so some people are more comfortable in front of others, but some people aren't. And so what ended up happening in a lot of projects that I would do is that it would just end up being the name of a track, because it's easier, it's simpler, nobody really cares about the name of the albums. But damn it, I really do. Actually, it's super important to me. So
don't ever let somebody fucking trample on your names again because of emotional invulnerability, Andrew. You be the beautiful butterfly and name your album This Is Emotionally Touching, and I'm no longer pulling my punches. Full stop.
I'm a beautiful butterfly. It's the name of my next album. But no, it was like a big thing. I'm getting every time we do a podcast, dude, my phone gets blown up. People don't text me, they don't call me all day. The second I'm busy,
I believe it.
The second I'm busy, they're like, hey Andrew, we really need to talk, and I'm like, no we don't. But anyways, I was just gonna say
at least it happens, at 9 at night. It doesn't happen for the whole day for me.
Yeah.
For a little peek behind the curtain, by the way, we record this at 9 at night, even though it looks
Oh
like
yeah.
Andrew is in broad daylight.
Does it look like I'm in broad daylight?
I mean, your lighting is, you got like there's like a window there.
Oh yeah. Well, no, I'm gonna break the fourth wall here. I've got a light softener thing over here, so I don't want to ruin my setup. But here we go. It's like
soft light.
I got like a light softener. So
like
you turn it off, turn it on, and how I do it is if I have this off, right? Okay, so here's the thing. I actually have a lamp up here too, and so it gives me some color because if I don't do it, then I look gray. I look like I'm in a Twilight film. You're like, what the fuck? So then you turn this on and boom, I'm a full human again. I'm not a vampire. So yeah. And then I have that light. And so this looks, my frame rate goes down. So you turn it on and the frame rate's back. So HD, baby, it's how we do it. But I was going to say, naming, I think, is a great way to market your thing. Also a great way to put a little more emotion on top of any project that you do. And yeah, like what Lucas is saying, don't be ashamed to do it. But also, you do want to make it original. Damn it. But sometimes it's hard to do that. So, but yeah, no, I think sorry.
I put a fair amount of thought because one day if I'm going to continue with comedy, I'll have a special at some point that I'll want to put out. And I've kind of got like one name working, like a working title that, because the jokes will change over time, but I'm sure that I have some jokes that I tell now in my first like year or so of doing it that I'll still have by the end of it. And so the only name that I've thought of that I really like is Waxing Idiotic. I don't know if you're familiar with the term waxing philosophic, where it's just like going over like philosophical topics and shit like that, just like basically shooting the shit about, whatever, but instead of philosophic idiotic, because
maybe what we'll do for the photo jokes. Maybe what we'll do for the photo of it is I'll take a picture of you laying on like a table and they'll put like wax on your back and they'll rip it off and I'll take a photo. So it'll just be like your back and then a bald spot.
Why not my chest, man?
Or your chest. Okay.
I'll get like fucking like arms back and it'll be like I'll be like half waxed.
Oh, sunglasses. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Fucking Steve Carell style.
Oof.
40-year-old version. You see that?
I have seen that movie. He did that shit for art. He let somebody wax his chest for art, and he was like thick like a Neanderthal. Yeah. I'm like I don't got barely any hair on me, so I don't ever need to be waxed. I got like.
Last time I was at your place, you saw my chest hair. We took off our shirts to shotgun beers. Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be messy and sticky. I don't want to ruin my shirt.
Sure, I got beer in my chest hair, and that's fine.
hey, yeah. Save it for your girlfriend.
I'm Polish. I gotta fucking suck the beer out of my chest hair when I get home.
She's like, Rainier. You're like PBR, close.
Yeah.
But damn, that's also another thing is that this has absolutely nothing to do. I'm going to try to fake a segue, but we have another topic that we want to talk about. And is it
about drinking and beer?
Oh, maybe we should do this. I don't know if you want to do this. We can make it a thing where we bring a drink to this and we try by the end of the podcast, we try to finish our drink.
Try as if we couldn't finish by the end of it.
Or maybe what we do is we do like
for my drink this week. I bought a 24 pack.
24 pack, and I will just be checking them down. What we'll do? We'll do 2 podcasts in one day. We'll do one sober, the next one drunk, and just see how it goes. I have a feeling. Yeah, no, I really do think so. We'll do, and maybe we'll do that when we like are live and we can get like both you and me in the same room. So what we'll do is we'll do our podcast. We'll do like a half an hour podcast about one thing. And then we'll do another podcast, maybe about like the same subject or something. We'll like redo the same podcast and we'll like shotgun 3 beers and then we'll take like 3 shots and then we'll have like a mixed drink or something, be just like fucking plastered. Give us like half an hour to an hour to drink all that. And then we're just like, fucking I become much more opinionated when I have a few drinks in me. I want you to know that. So Um,
Well, how does it do your music when you've got a couple beers in you? How does it
okay,
affect your performance?
so there's this long belief that like when you're a performer that if you like you get nervous. Everybody gets nervous when they're on stage, at least for a really long time. There at some point you might hit a wall where you're not nervous anymore, but that's not for a long time. So people say, "Hey, have a few drinks before you perform." Or some people even perform like high, and it's like whatever. I guess okay, cool. I could never do that. Good luck getting me to focus. I'd be super distracted. I could forget what I'm doing. I'll
So
forget all my
sober or
lyrics.
just high? You couldn't do
Both.
it high.
I could
Okay,
not do
so
it high. I'd be like fucking distracted. I'd be like, oh man, I could really use a cheeseburger. I get the
yeah.
munchies like crazy. So you can't do that, okay? And then here's the thing about being drunk, right? Some people perform after about 2 beers, they get a little buzz going. All right, now they're a little more relaxed. Now they play better because they still have like their dexterity, they still have their coordination, but the edge is off, just take the edge off a little bit. So, so they're a little more relaxed. They're a little more loosey goosey. Their hands move a little bit, whatever. Well,
Except unless you play bass for the Red Hot Chili Peppers, I think.
then I guess
You are the edge. I think I think that's his name.
I don't fucking know the guy's
Which band
name.
is it?
I
No, not the.
just try to think of the bass player of any band being the Edge. It's just so funny.
Is his name? Fuck, what band was he played? It's U2. U2.
U2?
His name is the Edge.
That's like what U2?
Who am I
They're
thinking
like
of? Flea, maybe.
you're thinking of Flea. Yeah, he's the bassist, I think. For watch, there's gonna be some some fucking snobs in the comments being like, actually, I don't know.
I got it.
You got it. We got it. We're good.
The two single name bass players, Edge and Flea.
What the fuck is up with? Why would you okay? Hey, you're in a rock band. You play bass. He's like, what's your name? Edge.
Yeah.
Just not the Edge. Is it the Edge or just
it's
Edge?
It's the Edge.
The Edge.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So he's that more of a douche. Okay.
A little bit more.
And
At least,
also,
I'm just glad he's not the Flea. That's better.
well, isn't the singer for U2 like Bono?
Yeah.
What's up with the fucking names? They're
Bono
too cool
and
for
the
school,
Edge.
man. They're too cool for school. And that was like my band teacher's like favorite band was like U2.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why. He just was like, I fucking loved it. He also loved Dave Matthews Band. But I can understand like musically that his band's like really interesting. But like,
Sure.
I don't know. U2 seems just like the old version of 30 Seconds to Mars to me. I don't know. There's like older 30 Seconds to Mars.
Mm-hmm.
He's like Jared Leto if his ego took over completely. But no, I think that this drinking policy, right? I say, okay, a few beers, but I used to have a guitar player in one of my bands. And I'm going to say his name because I'm not the biggest fan of this guy. Jesse is his name. I burnt that bridge.
Fuck
His
you,
name is
Jesse.
Fuck you, Jesse. And he was a good guitar player, but here's the thing. He wouldn't ever fucking practice. And then he like would barely show up to practice. And anyways, we ended up playing a couple shows with him and he was with us for a couple months, but, good guitar player for what it was worth. But he would do this thing with every show is that he would show up and he was the only one over. He was like older compared to us. Cause I want to say 19, maybe almost 20. And no, I was 19. I was 19 and, the bassist was 16 and the drummer was 16. So, and then he was 27. And you're thinking that's quite a bit older. He's 8 years older than I am. But maturity wise, he was like just like us. He hung out with us. He also looked really young, which helped because when I met him, I was like maybe he's in his early 20s. Like I would believe that he was like 23 or 24 at the time, which for a 19-year-old that's not like crazy because I work with 30-year-olds, so it's like whatever. Anyways, but he would do this thing where he gets to a gig, and he would be like, "Hey, I'm just gonna have a few beers." And he would drink one beer. Next thing you know, he's on a second beer. And all of a sudden, it's like 15 minutes before he performed, and he's downing his third beer. And by the way, he's a smaller dude, like 5'6", maybe 120 pounds, like really small dude and skinny guy. And he just drank 3 like 16-ounce beers, and in like half an hour. So he's like drunk almost at this point. He wasn't like a heavyweight where he could like drink a lot and be fine. No. And then he gets on stage and then he's super sloppy and like he would either just play wrong notes, he would just miss entrances, he would like forget licks. We'd be on stage about to play the next song, and he'd like bring his guitar over to me and be like, "Hey, what are the chords for the chorus go?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, dude, it's D, E." You know, I'm like telling him like the chords, and he's like, "Oh, thanks, okay, okay." And then he goes back to his corner, and like, I just like, and then you know, when you're in a smaller venue and you're playing in front of like 30, 40 people, and it's like really hot, your guitar gets out of tune, like literally every song. So like what you kind of do is you kind of go in between every song. Sometimes you can get away with like 2 songs. You tune your guitar. You just do. We had a tuner on the head of the guitar that you just like, you would mute your guitar and just tune it like that. And you have a directly plugged into like the amp, but it would be sitting on like the thing. And he would like not tune his guitar. So like 4 songs in a row, he hasn't tuned his guitar. Now his guitar's super out of tune and he's just playing and I'm like not hearing the pitch. So I have to like listen to the bass, which is a lot harder to go off of for me. So it's like, anyways, it was a shit show because he would get too drunk and he wouldn't even drink like a ton. He would just be like a little too drunk and just forget important stuff. So
what was this guy's name one more time?
Jesse.
Fuck you, Jesse.
Fuck you, Jesse.
Tune your shit.
So and he also did this thing where he would like so in band practice I was the only one with the mic, and if I didn't if somebody else had to have a mic, it would be the bassist because he was a pretty good singer and he could match pitch or harmonize or something sometimes. Well, then you go to stage and in all of a sudden there's a mic on everyone because that's how the stage was set. You're not going to be like, hey, take away this mic. You're going to just like leave it there. And so then Jesse would just decide that he's going to sing the chorus with me, and he would just be all fucking wrong. I have a video on my Instagram, and it sucks because we actually did a Linkin Park cover. We played Leave Out All the Rest, and all of a sudden the chorus comes in and it's like, when my time comes, forget the wrong that I've done, right? And he comes in and he's like, when my time comes, and it's just like super off, and he's louder than I am, and I'm like, fuck, dude, you're drunk, like what the fuck? And he's like, it's so, yeah, anyways. So my policy whenever I play music with anybody, if they're having a lot of drinks, I just immediately go, this better not fucking go to shit, because if this goes to shit, I'm gonna be pissed. So yeah, I have a hard time with that. But you know, do you perform better or worse when you're high or drunk, or how?
So you don't, what about when you're performing solo, when you're doing music alone? You just don't want to be compromised at all?
You know, honestly, I have yet to perform by myself.
Okay.
Because you know, since COVID,
like
it's been like a
coffee
year.
Shop shit. Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
I would say that if I was playing like in front of my friends, you know what? Next time I play, I'm getting drunk before I perform just to see how it goes, because
that's the spirit.
And I would, and you know what though? I think that would be fun. I really do think that would be fun. I wanted to do an experiment, and maybe like people can comment down below how they think about this. I definitely want to do that whole podcast thing where we do it sober and then do it drunk. But I've also wanted to do that with like Nathan and Chandler, and we like play music and we like have like 2 or 3 covers that we do, right? So we play our covers, and then after the set's done, we get fucking drunk, and then we try to play the set again, and we like live stream it and just see how it goes with us all being drunk.
That'd be really funny to play the same set twice in a row, like one day where you're sober, the next day, and then have it like next one track after the other be like cover and then the drunk version.
yeah, literally it would be like the song
destroyed
drunk version.
There reminds me of an album, I think it's by John Benjamin. He's a comedian, but the album is called like I Never Learned How to Play Piano or something like that. And it's like a full jazz band like playing like standards and him on the piano just like going like, just, like fucking with the keys the whole time. It's like really fucking funny. That's how you play the piano, right?
That's hilarious.
I've seen Keyboard Cat do it like that.
yeah, they do it right. Yeah, they know what they're doing. So
for,
how do you,
for my performance, because I'm alone, so like nobody's counting on me. I mean, the crowd's counting on me, but like,
nobody counts on me.
I can't let anybody down except for myself. Really,
there's a level of comfortability there.
It's true. Yeah, when I first started, I would. Yeah, because the hang is like a big part of comedy, and so I would go out and I would be like hang around with people outside, and then be like, "You want to hit this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Or I'd bring a joint and like share it with whoever was there.
Mm.
And it's COVID time, so maybe that's was the most kosher thing to be doing.
In retrospect, yeah.
But yeah, it was like showing up once a week to share a joint with a bunch of strangers in the parking lot. Sure, but for the love of comedy, that's what it was.
Yeah, it's the craft.
Yeah, no, actually, at some point, it was like bring your own joint. So there's like a bunch of people smoking their own blunts and joints around a parking lot and stuff.
Damn.
But then I stopped, and I would usually have one beer. So I would smoke a little bit, and then I'd have a Rainier brew. It's my shitty beer of choice.
That's my craft beer. It's a Rainier.
My craft is shit. No, but then I'd go up and I feel pretty good. I definitely haven't felt. I mean, I've done maybe 50 sets right now, like total in my life. I've gone.
It's a lot, though. I don't think I've performed 50 times.
Sure.
No, probably not.
Yeah,
it's a lot of shows.
But that requires a lot more. I just show up and they have like microphones and shit, and they're like, "You want to talk for 3 to 7 minutes?" I'm like, "Sure, yeah." So like, but that's like not a lot for comedy, because like before COVID, there would be like 5 open mics a night, and so you would hit one and then you'd go to the next 4 like after. So like in a night you might perform 5 times, at least in a bigger city. In Portland, where we are, like in New York or LA, you could do that easy. And I haven't felt too intoxicated like that it has affected, that I would have done like way worse or way better.
It didn't hinder your performance.
No, I've definitely been like, I might have been a little drunk and forgot about this like tag that I had, but like I wasn't like forgetting my jokes. I didn't get up there and be like, shit, I forgot all my jokes and I pissed myself. It's like it wasn't, you know, disastrous or anything. But I stopped smoking as much because I had an existential crisis, as people are wont to do. And I'm like, I can't get up on stage and tell jokes. Hi, man. What is that going to be, crazy? So, but then everything kind of came to a close. So we'll see how I continue. Because in that environment, everybody's like, I don't know if before the band gets up, if they're like, who wants to smoke a joint before we go on stage?
Dude, every show someone's like, hey, you want to have a drink, or you want to da-da-da? And especially when you're, you know, a starving artist and you're playing at these small shows, you invite people, you know, and you're with your friends, they're going to want to drink with you, which it's, you know, you're playing at a bar, or you're playing at a club, they have alcohol, they have drugs, they have weed, and well, they probably have drugs. And, you know, you're like, hey, like, you know, I'm going to get high or I'm going to get drunk before I play. And a lot of people find that to be fun. A lot of people can do it. But then you get like, you know, I think that you can do it, and it depends on the person. But I do think that there is a level that you cross when you're like, oh shit, now you can't play. Like, and some people aren't good at handling their alcohol. So I say, for me, find like what your limit is, and then go like just below that. And then you're fine. You're in the green, but stay in the green. That's so. But next time that I perform or whatever, we play a show, I will shotgun like 2 beers. I will take 2 shots, and then I'll fucking hop on stage and see how that goes.
Tune your guitar first.
Yeah. If I'm playing guitar, let's see. Maybe I'll not be able to play guitar.
Don't be like Jesse. Yeah, you're just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go a cappella.
I just like, all right, guys, I'm gonna sing the national anthem for 15 minutes.
Not like repeating it just like because you can't remember the next verse. You're just like, do the first one again.
And that's the thing. Is about like reliable people. You need reliable people that will know their fucking shit and have their alcohol. And you know, that's the thing is like we were talking about that guitar player, and he would just like not know his stuff. That happens so often. I've tried for so long. And for people who don't know, my band, new management on Spotify, by the way, check it out. I've only said it like 4 times. It's just me. I sing, I play, I record all the parts, I do everything. I mix it, I put it out there, right? I have tried so many times, and I've been in so many bands with so many different members is incredibly difficult, especially in the area that I live. Realistically, I'm in a small town, and outside there are bigger cities, but most people that I meet, it's like a 45-minute to an hour long commute. People just don't want to make that all the time. So it's really hard to find members who would want to stick around. So for a long time, I was looking for a drummer and a bassist and a guitarist. And I would love to play with people, and I'd love to jam out. I'd love to have weekly or bi-weekly band practice. I would love to do that. I would love to write songs for other people, but people aren't dependable most of the time. And so you get with, or they don't want to write the same music that you do, and you don't want to, do this other stuff. And I've been in other bands for so long. And with bands, it's like any other project. It's with any other project they do. It's like with anybody at work. You have to compromise a lot. You have to be like, hey, I want to write this song and I want to write it like this. And they're like, oh, I think we should do this. And of course you don't want to be a douchebag and it's like, well, this is my song, so I want it to be exactly the way I envisioned it. You have to compromise, and you can't tell the drummer, you can't write all their parts all the time. You can't write the guitar parts all the time. It like they won't want to play. They'll get really annoyed. So I guess the biggest thing is that for me, I took away from that was, you know what, I'm just going to do it all by myself because I don't want to compromise. I want to write the music that I want to write. I want to play the parts that I want to play. I want to sing the way I want to sing. And I don't want to write the lyrics that I want to write because I'm tired of writing songs to put in front of people and then they change things. Not that that's just for them to like change things. We record it and then 2 months later they quit the band. So I'm tired of people coming and making differences and then leaving. So I just went, fuck it, I'm done. If people want to join my band, if people want to play bass or play drums or play guitar, okay, awesome. But just do know that I like to write music and you're joining my band. I'm a fucking asshole right now. But just remember that like you can't come in here and then change stuff and then leave. Yeah. If you're going to be in for life, and I got your soul written on a contract, then yeah, okay, let's write music together. But if we're going to write an album and then you leave, every time I listen to that album, I'm going to think of all the shitty things that like you did and then you fucking left. So
fucking
just remember
Jesse.
that. Fucking Jesse. He actually didn't write any music when he was there. But specifically because I said, after you've been here, after you've been in the band for a year, then when we write our next project, then you can write parts. And the drummer Shane, the bassist Asher, and us 3 core members, we all agreed on that. We had a band meeting before that, and we said we want him to be in the band for a year before he decides to write parts. Because right before him, we had like 2 other band members come in for like 6 months and then leave, and we were like tired of that. And if you ask anybody else who's in a band, they you go through members. You go through even professional bands. They have contracts. They go through members. I mean, I'm sure in comedy it's like different, obviously, because you're definitely a solo act for the most part. But if like you were in a comedy group, I'm sure it's the same sort of atmosphere. I don't know. I mean, do you have anybody who's like in your troupe who like, hey, we're gonna show up, and I don't know fucking what you would call it.
I don't do fucking improv down at Friday nights or whatever. No.
Damn, maybe you and I should go do that. Do you think we'd be good at
improv?
It? Yeah, I'd fucking do an improv if I was with you.
Sure.
I feel like you give off good improv vibes.
I'll just viciously make fun of you, whatever you do on stage, and it'll be like, I'm improving.
Look at me.
Yeah.
Oh damn. But I mean, have you ever dealt with like a show or a project with anybody that like, people ditch or people fucking fall through? They're not reliable. I don't know. Have you ever had to deal with that yet? I mean,
no, not as much, I mean, in terms of reliability, like you said, comedy's kind of like a solo act thing, but yeah, I mean, I've seen guys get like really high outside and like not make it in for their spot and miss their 5 minutes or whatever, but like that's kind of the extent of it, because like that probably ruined their night. And
you were telling me about, I mean, you do that whole like drive-in show, you do that drive-up show, so I mean, I'm sure you said a couple
definitely people... no drinking at all. People don't bring their own shit.
But I was thinking like, people who are running that, which you're one of the people running that, and you're with other people. Are there ever, if you had a drive-up show, how many comedians would you want to be there for the drive-up show?
So we've done one show where we had 8 comedians, featuring, so that was like a good amount. And everybody was super on board. We were paying everybody, so like everybody was there and came, did their time. Not everybody like felt great about their sets, but like ultimately, like I said this before, you're like a stuntman, you get paid for the attempt. So they showed up, and they were all people that we knew and had come to, for the most part, had come to the open mics that we had done. But when we do the open mics, it's like, you know, anywhere from 15 to 30 comedians showing up, and that you get time proportional to like how many people are there. Generally everybody gets the same. If you bring your own mic, so we don't have to give you a clean your mic for you or whatever, you get like an extra minute. But yeah, nobody's missing their sets because we're the only live comedy in town right now. So everybody's like kind of wants their time.
Yeah.
But if somebody missed it, it'd be like, all right, fuck it, you missed your time.
Damn, that would suck. See, that's, I guess I was thinking is like, if you had, you know, 8 you said was perfect. Well, let's say you get to the thing and like nobody shows up and now there's only 3 comedians. You're like, that would fucking suck. I mean,
it would suck. You would just have to be like, all right, people who are here, you have to do, you know, 10 extra minutes. Yeah, you have to do, which is
a lot of material to just kind of do. I've played shows where this is going to sound like really shitty. But you kind of have to do a show where it's like, I think it was 3 hours. It was a 3-hour slot. And this is actually pretty common, but there was a 3-hour slot and you get a half an hour break at any point in time you want. So basically we did like an hour and a half long set, and then that would be a half an hour break. And then we'd have the last hour we'd fill up with the same set, but we'd do like our best songs. An hour and a half of music is like 20 songs. Like it's like a lot, and that's so much material. And you have to repeat it. And sometimes we'd have like, oh shit, it's the same audience. Like they're still here. Like they didn't leave during our break, which you expect them to. And then you're like, you just go to the mic and you're like, hey everybody, just letting you know, we're going to play the same set. So, sorry. And then you just start playing all your covers again. And it is what it is. But that's the thing, is like, that to me is the equal amount of having to improv 10 minutes on stage. That's a lot of time to improv.
Well, fucking hopefully they're not improving.
Or hopefully they have like 10 extra minutes of stuff that they didn't.
Yeah, but at the same way, is that 10 minutes is a lot of time. It's you know, people work years to get 10 minutes that they feel comfortable with. Yeah,
for sure. You know, that's, yeah, no, people ditch a lot, but you kind of figure out what you're doing. So, but yeah, anyways, what's the time at right now? I have no idea. I didn't start my stop time.
You didn't?
No, I didn't.
We're at 57 minutes.
Oh shit. Okay. All right. Well, hey everybody, we're gonna wrap this up. So that went by really fast, if I'm being honest. That felt like it. Anyways,
it's that improv energy we put on.
I know. All right, everybody, if you haven't seen the last episode that we did it with Nathan Mitchell of Midnight Picture Show. He was a great guest. It was really fun. We'll definitely have to have him back on. But anyways, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sticking to the end. We really appreciate it. If you are a starving artist as well, leave a comment down below. Maybe I'll DM you. Maybe we can have you on the show. We're that small. Get us while we're small, because maybe one day we'll hopefully, knock on wood, we'll blow up and then we'll be too big for some of y'all's. I'm just kidding. No, but
too big to read the comments.
Yeah, read it. So anyways, everybody have a great day. Have a wonderful day and eat well, my friends, because we are all starving artists out here. Take it easy.
Yeah.